The Masterpiece in the Meadow by Lullaby Libraries. In the quiet corner of the schoolyard, where the grass grew tall and the dandelions turned to fluff, Silas and Susan were busy. While the other children played loud games of tag, they were building a cricket cathedral out of twigs and smooth gray stones. Susan had a way of finding beauty in things others stepped on, and Silas loved how the world felt bigger when he was with her. From the asphalt basketball court, Jax watched them and shook his head. Jax was the fastest runner in the 3rd grade, and everyone wanted to be on his team. "Hey, Silas," Jax shouted, pointing a finger toward the meadow. "Why are you hanging out with the bug girl? Come play a real game before you start growing moss, too." Silas looked at Susan. She had gone very still, her hands hovering over a piece of moss. She didn't look up, but Silas saw her shoulders hunch forward, trying to make herself small. She looked like a flower closing its petals against a cold wind. For a moment, Silas felt a pinch of embarrassment in his chest, wishing he could just be normal like the others. The next day at lunch, Silas found himself sitting at the long table with Jax and the popular crowd. The air was filled with loud laughter and talk of winning goals. But then, Jax leaned in and whispered a joke about Susan's mismatched socks and her bug collection. The whole table erupted in giggles, and Silas felt a heavy, cold stone drop into his stomach. Silas looked across the room and saw Susan sitting by the window, eating her sandwich in silence. He thought about the stories his mother told him about a man who walked with the lonely and loved the forgotten. He realized that Susan wasn't weird. She was a masterpiece, crafted with care, just like everyone else. Choosing the easy path felt wrong when the right path was sitting by the window. Silas stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "Where are you going?" Jax asked, his laughter dying down. Silas gripped his lunch tray tightly. "I'm going to sit with my friend," Silas said, his voice quiet but steady. Jax rolled his eyes. "If you go over there, don't expect a spot on the team tomorrow." Silas walked across the crowded room, every step feeling heavier than the last. When he reached the window, he sat down across from Susan. She looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. "You don't have to be here," she whispered. Silas smiled and opened his carton of milk. "I know," he replied, "but the cricket cathedral needs a roof, and I think we should use those red leaves." Later that afternoon, Jax and a few others walked over to the meadow. They began to kick at the piles of stones Silas and Susan had gathered. "This is baby stuff," Jax sneered. Silas stood up, stepping between Jax and the little stone cathedral. He didn't clench his fists or shout. Instead, he looked Jax in the eye with a kindness that felt like a shield. "Jax, you're a great runner," Silas said softly. "But Susan is a great builder. There's room in this school for both." He reached down and picked up a stone that had been knocked over, handing it to Susan. "We aren't stopping, Jax. You're welcome to help us, but we won't let you tear it down." Silas chose to love his friend, and in doing so, he showed Jax a strength that didn't need to be loud. Jax stood there for a moment, then turned and walked away, his shoulders less tense than before. Silas and Susan went back to work. Soon, a girl named Junia wandered over, watching them balance a leaf on a twig. "Can I help?" she asked shyly. Silas looked at Susan, and Susan smiled. In the meadow, they learned that a true friend doesn't just follow the crowd. They lead the way with love,